Yes folks, we're back with another video on SFC Fan TV. And before we start the video to do with the imbeciles in the media and the preview against Nottingham Forest, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, much appreciated, and give us a thumbs up. And of course, a big thank you to those sponsors of the channel, Wolf Competitions. Check out wolfcompetitions.co.uk and have a look. You can win all sorts of prizes for small amounts of money. If you like that type of thing, it's definitely worth popping over. Free to join and check out the wonderful prizes to be won on Wolf Competitions. But I tell you what, earlier on in the week, I heard rumours coming out of God knows what sources, but people were coming up to us in work and saying, "Hey, that's disgusting, isn't it?" I says, "What's disgusting?" I said, "Well, the news coming out of Sunderland." I goes, "What's happened, like?" I said, "Oh, if Regis le Bris doesn't get European football this season, he's going to get sacked." And I was like, come on, what an absolute crock of shit. That is absolute rubbish. Surely that's rubbish. That can't be true. Scratching my head. And then other people come saying the same thing. "Hey, that's disgusting from your owners." I'm saying, look, that's rubbish. That's not true. I don't believe that for one single moment. And then apparently it was on Sky as well, but it all originated, I'm led to believe, allegedly on Talk Sport. Well, come on. I might have guessed Talk Sport. You there? Out walking the dog at the moment. And had us worried a little bit. You know, I'd say about 10% of us was thinking, surely this can't be true. I know we're very ambitious, but it's the first season back in the Premier League. Regis le Bris has been absolutely fantastic. He's been a breath of fresh air at the club. He knows his stuff. You know, took over from Sunderland in the Championship when we finished 16th in the Championship to get us promoted first season. And then this season, we're in about 11th place or whatever it is, but comfortably safe in the Premier League. Still got a chance of European football. And you know what? We did lose to 4-3 against Aston Villa last week. But Regis le Bris says a lot of the team weren't 100%. They weren't well. They were under the weather. They had some sort of illness. So hats off to Alderete and Ronaldo. And that kind of makes sense, you know. Because if a lot of the players had a bit of illness, you could see the mistakes that were being made in defence. And if it was more of the defensive players, then that makes a lot of sense, you know. So to get a 4-3 result against Aston Villa, and we should have beat them, mind. Don't forget. We should have beat them another day. We would have beaten them. So, you know, to come away with that kind of result, to score 3 goals and to put Aston Villa under tremendous pressure, come on. I do believe, like, you know, that makes a lot of sense. But like I said, Regis le Bris has been absolutely amazing, hasn't he? He's been fantastic as Sunderland's head coach. And for me, there's no way in he should be given a new contract. I mean, I don't know when the last contract was kind of what he was given and how long for. Come on, Lexi. But yeah, he should be given a new contract and a pay rise for me for this season. He's been brilliant, and I'm sure he will do. I'm sure he'll be rewarded. But yeah, apparently Talk Sport allegedly said that he will be getting sacked if he doesn't make European football. What an apps. And Sky, come on, you should know better than that. If Sky put it on, I heard someone said it was on Sky. Now, if they have repeated that, I mean, who are these sources? Newcastle United fans? Where did they get this information from? Did they just make something up? I do believe they see a team doing so well, they see a team overachieving, and they don't like it. They just don't like it. So they try and make up some rubbish to upset the apple cart, you know, to get people's backs up, to try and make a bit of division in the team or whatever it is, but they've got no clue. You know, we've got such a great team camaraderie, such a fantastic ethics at this club. Everybody's pulling for everybody. Everybody's working their socks off. So for them trying to upset the apple cart allegedly, I mean, let's face it, it's just somebody out there just trying to stir the shit, isn't it? And it's absolute rubbish. I think the majority, if not all Sunderland fans, 95%, we thought, yes, it's rubbish. We knew it was rubbish. As soon as I heard it, I thought, that's got to be rubbish. That can't be true. And I said to the other way, I says, don't believe what you hear. I say the absolute crock of shit. I say nothing's come out of the club at all throughout the whole of the season to say any of this type of thing. I says no one even believed we could get anywhere near Europe this season. Never mind get into Europe. And like I said, it's still a chance, you know. We could get up to 8th place if we win against Nottingham Forest. And I say if because Forest are in fantastic form. So media like TalkSport need to really do the homework. If they've got nothing to talk about, don't make up shit. That's just my opinion. So yeah, it's not true. I think it came out. I think the guy in the Sun Echo, I'm forgetting his name now, said he spoke to the hierarchies and they said no, it's absolute rubbish. So don't be worried about that. Regis le Bris's job is safe. Lexi, come on, stick, come on. Likes a good stick. That's it, how? So as I was saying, yeah, for me, they need to really, I mean, it's poor. Let's face it, that's poor. It is really poor from TalkSport, if that's where it came from, and Sky Sports to put that news out there. It is really poor to put that out there in the domain when we know it's absolute rubbish. It is absolutely rubbish. Anyway, Nottingham Forest next. This won't be an easy game. They've been down in the bottom 3 for a long time, bottom 4 this season. But for me, they've turned the corner. Forest, another one of those teams, you know, where they've come up to the Premier League, invested heavily, survived the first season, even with a points deduction. The second season, they made it to Europe. And I think they're in the semi-finals of the Europa League, which is, I think it is the semi-finals. So that means they're in the same league as Crystal Palace or European football, the same as Aston Villa. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, they've done brilliant. They beat Porto. They've unbeaten the last 7 games. Believe it or not, they drew against Man City. You know, some good results there. So they beat Spurs 3-0. I know a lot of teams have beaten Spurs, of course. Spurs are in a really bad run of form. But, so, for me, it's a tough game. Gibbs White got a hat-trick. The last game against Burnley, they were getting beat 1-0, turned around, won 4-1. So they're in good form. Nottingham Forest are a difficult team. You know, we did beat them down there at the City Ground. Postecoglou, and then he got sacked. So they've got a new head coach in, and it seems to be doing a good job. But they've got a good look. I was saying this to someone I know before. They've got a good squad. You know, you don't finish in a European position one season and then down in relegation if the core of the squad isn't good. There's just something not gone right there. I think that, you know, when they sacked that Nuno Santos for whatever reason, because he wasn't getting on with the owner, and then Postecoglou come in, that was just the wrong fit. That was just the wrong head coach. And now they've got someone in who's doing a decent job. And yeah, it's going to be a real tough game. So the Forest fans are looking for another victory. They're 5 points off relegation. Spurs are in the bottom 3. Sunderland, well, like I said, we could go in 8th place if games go right. You know, games go our way this weekend. And if we win tonight, we can really push and give it one last big go for European football with only 5 games to go after tonight. I think there's 6 games to go. We've got some tough games in those 6 games. We've got Manchester United at home, Chelsea, but Chelsea have just sacked their head coach. I mean, again, just look at them. These teams that sack head coaches and bring new head coaches in. I mean, what's the point? They give that lad 7-year contract, knowing fine well he hasn't got the experience. And we all knew, I think everybody knew out there, that if things weren't going the way of, I forget his name now, the head coach got sacked from Chelsea, he will get sacked. So 7-year contract, 6-year contract, what absolute rubbish. But at the end of the day, that's good for him. He'll get a massive payout. He'll get sacked and get up something like 20 odd million. Is that right? 20 odd million he'll get. It's absolutely mental. Football's crazy. Anyway, there we go. So, score prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Sunderland win tonight. I think we'll get back to winning ways. The lads get over that illness they had. Got a full strength squad. Ballard will probably come in for me. Ballard ahead of 0-9. Maybe he's already. Ballard, Ronaldo and Mukele. It seems a bit harsh to leave Hume on the bench, but I don't know what else we can do. Really, we've got a really good in-depth squad and they're all fit. I think Siddiqui, Xhaka speaks for itself. Robbie, we got like Diarra. Does Diarra get dropped to the bench? And do you bring Lafitte into the mid role as a number 10 with Rig and Talby, or do you keep it the same as against Aston Villa? Let me know your thoughts down below. So there we go. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I just want to make it clear out there, if anybody who was wondering or worried about, you know, the rumours to Regis le Bris, it's absolute rubbish. You know, media, you take some media, just some, you know, some newspapers and media out there need to take a good long hard look at themselves in the mirror and stop making up rubbish. There we go. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you later, folks. And hopefully 3 points. Adios.